Way back when we had some ATEX concerns in 2021, I think it was, we actually started a Google search to try find a company who would be able to help us. After looking through a few of these different companies, we found Alcam, we found their website and we reached out to them. They responded to us very, very quickly, and the response was exactly what we needed. They gave us every piece of information that we would possibly require with respect to ATEX. Unfortunately, they had a very comprehensive ATEX training course, plenty of material to go with it, and they were on site with us within a couple of weeks. Northvolt had gone through a rigorous compliance period. It was tough to develop the right procedures, it was tough to develop the right infrastructural necessity or framework within the company. We had suffered some recordable incidents, so the pressure was on us to get to a point where we could actually execute ATEX maintenance and execute it safely within compliance standards. So Alcam helped us to do that. We had a guy from Alcam called Peter come on site. He gave us a 2-day ATEX EXF, I believe it was called, training course. It was fully comprehensive, I believe, but it enabled us to understand what zoning was, what the compliance badge on the equipment meant, the different types of variables that go into the compliance certification, and it helped us to quickly understand the gaps that we had. So when Alcam came on site, they helped us with what was known as a HAZOP. During the HAZOP, Peter, the Alcam consultant, had noticed that the electrical compartments were turned into the ATEX zone when they should have been turned away from the ATEX zone. He also noticed that a lot of the ducting were not in the correct format. And from that, we were able to adjust and make ourselves compliant. So I would say that as a massive win for us. When we onboard now, we onboard with ATEX on mind. When we hire people, we want to make sure that they understand what ATEX is. When we speak to companies during our procurement process, we try to ensure that the procurement process is done with ATEX in mind, and basically try to influence the design review stage, as opposed to, having the equipment come on site and then trying to make it ATEX certified. So it's kind of changes from a cultural perspective. Well, HAZOPs by nature are hazardous operations, right? And it's basically given us the opportunity to look at the different type of chemicals that we use on equipment, the different type of components, whether they're intrinsically safe or not, to understand the environment particularly and the people that come through that environment. I think it's given us an awful lot of learnings in the past year to year and a half that we've been working with Alcam. Northvolt's kind of biggest challenge at the moment, I would say, was the dust collector problem that we had. The dust collectors are all over our factories, and we have been struggling to maintain them in a compliant way. And since Alcam have been on site, they've given us the right procedures, the right methods. They allowed us to look at ATEX and HAZOPs in a different way for it to become part of our culture. So I think that that's been a big bonus. When we go to do maintenance previously, there was a lot of questions asked, a lot of ambiguity, a lot of uncertainty. The biggest jump forward that I think we've taken is that when we go to do maintenance now, it's easy. We know exactly what to do, we know exactly when to do it, and the machines come back first time. The minute we reached out to Alcam, we had constant calls with them, Teams meetings. We also had the guys on site. They would take calls from us in the middle of the night if we ever needed any type of consultation or instruction. I never found a moment where they were not available to us. So the communication was always open, the channels were always open, but the information, more importantly, was always correct. I'd just like to thank them. I think they've done a great job for us. I'll forever be grateful the fact that they've kept my team and my people safe. Without Alcam, I think we would be in a more precarious position than we are today.